EchoVR is shutting down, the world's first true virtual sport. This isn't just a game though. This was a social haven whilst the world was in quarantine. This is a whole player base with skills and meta refined over 6 long years. This is a massive moment in the history of the metaverse, and on the 1st of August 2023, it all goes in the bin. My name is MoneyMitch26. I'm a virtual sport competitive player and coach. I'm a matchcaster and commentator, and I'm an interview host. I sit down with key people in this early metaverse community, and I allow them to share their story. This episode is part of what I'm calling the Legacy series, basically conversations we recorded pre-shutdown announcement. It's going to be the case for the next 4 episodes that we had pre-recorded. I considered not showing them at all, but I thought, no, they're still very much relevant, and it's quite nice to look back at where these people were before they knew the end was so near. So this next guest, they've had one of the fastest climbs to the top end of the competitive rankings I think I've ever seen. They are one of the biggest content creators in Echo, with well over 1,000 organic subs on YouTube, and they have an ambitious outlook and future in the virtual sport industry. Keep watching. If you're busy studying, working, traveling, then just listen to this in the background. Just let it play. If you're genuinely a busybody and you're telling me you've got literally no time to watch this, then just drag the thing, skip to one of the timestamps that you're actually interested in. The names are all there for the chapters. Just pick apart. This is ConDawgB. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is MoneyMitch26, and this is Top of the Pop. I'm here with ConDawg.
Yep.
ConDawg, this is the first time we're doing this in VR, but we have done this in real life, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah, it's a bit of a downer to start the show on, but we did a phenomenal sit down at Echo North in Toronto. We had a really good conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And annoyingly, the audio just messed up. So we've lost it. I mean, I could release the hour-long video of 0 audio, but that won't be any fun.
No. But we're here now. So
we are here now, and we're going to see. I mean, I don't want to try and recreate what we had. I'd rather do something new. But I've got the same kind of questions that we can ask, and just let it flow. See what comes out of this. We've got a bit of time, so we'll get into it. So just to give you a bit of an introduction, ConDawg, you've got the first thing that comes to mind is your YouTube. It's remarkable. It's worth pointing out that you have, when I last checked, 750 subscribers around
around there.
And your most viewed video was coming up to 10k now, the one from 3 months ago.
Yep.
These are big numbers.
Big numbers, yep. It's kind of hard to even process it, you know. It comes to a certain point where it's you can't even picture it. You don't know how much actually 10k people are.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with it. I'm definitely going to branch off, do other types of content, mainly montages right now, but definitely going to move over. I'm planning a lot of gameplay analysis videos with taking passing plays, clips, and then analyzing where I'm looking, what my teammates are doing, what I'm doing, how I choose what decisions I'm making. And then I'm planning on for those videos I have a laptop with a touch screen, so I'm planning on drawing on it too, so I can draw. Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. I'm excited for those.
So have you got an interest in coaching as well, or is this more just content? This is the kind of thing that you want people to be able to access?
Both, but more content wise. But yeah, I mean, it would be technically coaching in a way. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so to YouTube, it's all coming back to me now. Last time when you said that, you told me about the touchscreen, and it reminded me of Wiggles. Have you since had, so for context, so Wiggles does a lot of TikTok content for Echo, and what I think is awesome, what she does is she'll do she does coaching sessions, so she'll teach people how to play goalie. She'll turn that into a 30-second to a minute video on TikTok, and then she'll do another TikTok explaining how she edited it, which is really cool.
Yep. No. Yeah. Definitely take inspiration from that. And like the NFL, that's another thing. Like when they do their, play analysis, they draw on it, that type of thing. If you've ever watched American football. So
Yeah,
like, it's that type of vibe. But I mean, it's mainly for decision making, explaining why I'm making the decisions I'm making, and show, if it's because I see two people in front of me, blah, blah, blah. So just like, yeah, explaining that and drawing so it's really clear on what the decisions are.
Nice. And is this Echo first and then you're taking ideas from other sports, or do you like watch other sports as well? Do you follow NFL or anything similar?
Well, I mean, not really. I'm not really actually surprisingly much of a sports guy, besides from Echo. But so like it's more that I've looked at how other sports do this, and I've just like taken bits from it and trying to combine them. So like how the NFL draws it, decision making. So just taking all these different things from all these different places and combining them and turning them into my own thing that I think is the most effective way of doing it. So
that's cool.
Yep.
What is the goal? So with this new style of content you're talking about breaking down your passing plays, are you just building the brand and just building content and just seeing what people are interested in, or are you specifically on a bit of a goal to teach other players and teach them this high level
both
skills?
Yeah, I mean, I love coaching, obviously, because like you're helping someone and then they're like, oh my God, you helped me so much. It just feels good. How could it not? So
yeah,
that, but also content wise, well, and with coaching, I mean, I charge for coaching. So like most people won't do that. So just having a free option that's more generalized, I think is really important. So that's another piece, but yeah, it's both.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that's appreciated by other players as well when they come up. Yes, they're looking for advice on YouTube. If you can be that person that provides that, like, no, this is like step by step. Let me draw it on the screen for you. Let me show you exactly what I'm doing. That's really valuable. So how did you get into Echo? If we go all the way, how long have you been playing for Echo?
So for me, it's been technically 4 years because I first got the game 4 years ago. But
right.
I didn't really start playing. I played like occasionally, maybe like a couple times a year for the first couple years. But definitely when the first quest came out, that's when I more got into it. And when the Quest 2 came out, that's when I fully got into it. Because I originally was on the Rift and I was playing a different game that I very much into at the time. I don't play it at all anymore. It's called Orbis VR, but it's basically World of Warcraft in VR. So it was like an RPG type fantasy thing. So I got addicted to that, and that was awesome. But yeah, so I was playing much more of that when I was originally on Rift before the Quest came out, and then I don't remember exactly why, but I decided to go back on the Quest 1, and then I got the Quest 2 when that came out, and then I think I joined VRML very end of Season 3 on the Quest 2. So that's when I more started to play the game.
So when you were playing Orbis VR, the RPG you spoke about, you were on the original Rift, right? Or we call CV1.
Yep.
Okay. Why did you buy that? Were you already into PC gaming?
I have to think back. Well, no, I've never been a PC gamer at all. Right. The only thing I kind of did before was Xbox, but like really I never found a game that I like truly liked. Like I got fully addicted into until Echo and Orbis too. I mean, Orbis was pretty, but I just remember like back a while, I think it was like 2017. I was like, for Christmas, I was like, can I get a VR headset? And that's weird because I'm some 11-year-old kid asking. It's just kind of weird, especially at that time. And my parents got me originally, what do you call it? The headset you put your phone in.
Oh yeah.
And at the time, like that was crazy. Like that was the future. I remember for a brief while, everyone thought that was going to be how VR was. You put your phone in the thing. Obviously, that didn't happen at all. But yeah, so that was. But it's just something about VR when I first heard about it. Something about it just spoke to me. I guess it just was incredibly interesting right from the get-go. and then I got the phone and VR headset, and then I don't remember exactly where, but I mean, I still to this day thank my parents. They're so awesome. They got me their CV1 for Christmas, so, and that's when it really clicked, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. Because like
Amazing.
the CV1, the original CV1, there's like something magical about it, you know, because you had, you know, all this media of like sci-fi and stuff of VR, you know, Ready Player One, and like the Rift, I still think to this day is the closest to that thing. So yeah, I mean, it was just awesome. I've always loved technology also. And I think VR really is the future of technology. I refer to it as like Internet 2.0 in a way.
Right.
That's what I think it's going to end up being, I hope.
Are you interested in any other headsets? I know the MetaQuest Pro came out recently at time of recording.
Yes.
Are there any other headsets that you've got your eyes on? Have you seen the Index? Have you played with that at all?
No, I have actually never played on the Index. At the moment, there's no headsets. I'm waiting for Meta, the Quest 3, right, whatever they're going to call it, which I think is next year. So that's the big one I'm waiting for. I did get the Quest Pro controllers, just the controllers.
Okay.
I'm going to try them out with Quest 2. And if I have to play on Quest 2, that's what I'll do. That's the reason I got them. And, you know, make a video on them too. So,
yeah.
100%. But yeah, I mean, with even the Quest Pro, I mean, the AR features, it's wild how that's so advanced so quickly. The face tracking, the eye track, I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for it. It's going to be like the next 5 years. So, you know, it's going to go crazy.
The controllers, you said you've ordered them. Have you received them, or they're on their way?
So they're pre-ordered. I think they come out in January. So I pre-ordered them.
They do. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because some people have the actual headset, but they can't use the controllers for the rest of it.
Right.
So that
makes sense.
Yep. But
nice.
Because I got the another LAN in March coming up, and that's another reason I got
NEPA?
the rest. NEPA LAN.
NEPA, yeah. What other LANs are coming up next year? Because I need to plan.
I actually don't know. The only one I know of is NEPA LAN, the second NEPA LAN.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what other ones. I know there's a Redshift one. I didn't really look into that though. I think that already.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the new year what's coming.
Yeah.
But likely Redshift. Echo North, potentially an Echo North too.
Oh, maybe. Awesome.
We spoke about virtual reality, getting into the technology, having all your different headsets that you picked up. But how did you go from casual Echo player to now where you are with NEPA and these kind of relationships? What was that kind of journey?
So firstly, I mean, I'd been a casual player for a while, up to like 2.5 games. And I'd heard about VRML because, you know, you have that tag. So I knew it existed. And I guess one day I was just like, I need to learn more about this. So I looked it up, I found the website, and then I was like, whoa, how do you join a team? Looking through the teams, I found a team, joined it, you know, played through the rest of season 3, which was like 2 games. And then me and a couple other players left that team and joined, or made a new team, which was my bronze team, digital. So I was on that team for like a whole season pretty much, I think. Because I still didn't realize how good I was at the game. Like I didn't realize I wasn't bronze. I thought I was bronze. So I was in there for a while, and then, you know, I started realizing, oh wait, I'm actually like plat diamond. So then I joined a plat team, which was, my plat team was Reshape. Well, I joined gold, got into gold with a team named Draken. Then I got to plat firstly with Reshape, and then I tried out a new team, and we got to diamond MMR, but we were still unranked. So what was the shift? How did you go from, I'm going to play this a little bit, I might play this on Thursday night, to then,
Do you know what I mean? Because when you're playing
Yeah.
competitive, I imagine you're playing like 5 nights a week minimum, right?
Yeah, no, I'm playing every day. So I guess like I just fell in love with the game, and then I figured out that like VRML and all these other competitive things are like just a better way to play the game. So that I guess that answers the question. Yeah. Yeah.
When
So
you
I
say
just,
fell in love with the game, was it like
yeah.
addiction to playing the game?
Yeah, I mean, addiction. Again, it's just like something about this game. It's like every single piece of it feels like a fantasy I've had as a child. You know,
Okay.
the pitch roll, it's just like, because I've always loved sports, or like the act of like I played soccer as like a very young kid, and I always loved, getting the ball and then being in the offense and then kicking it and it going in the goal, like that feeling. But like I never liked soccer. And that's really the only sport I like tried. But so I always loved like the feeling of sports, but I never like could express that feeling with any of the sports I knew at the time. And then when I got this game, it's just like it all made sense. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's just all the different things you can do, the shielding, stunning, all of it just makes sense to me. And like the fact that this arena still the thing that I think is most special, I guess, to me is the pitch you're on roll, because this arena it's like it's similar if you go upside down, right? It's the same thing, but it's also not. And the way that like if other people that you're versing aren't upside down but you are, you're seeing two different things, but you're also seeing the same thing. It's just like that whole perspective thing. I think is the most interesting thing about this game, and that's what really really clicked with. And I call them aspects again, with like the shielding, stunning, shooting, all that. Those are all aspects. The fact that there's not many aspects, there's probably like 6 or 8, 6 to 8 aspects of the game, but you can use those aspects in so many different combinations. There's infinite combinations. So I think that's another thing that like you can, and I've always loved grinding. All the games I've played before, like that's why I love
RPGs.
grinding. But the big difference between this game and any past game, that grinding is you're killing a bunch of monsters to get a higher level weapon. In this game, you're being incredibly conscious of what you're doing with your real life arm to adjust tiny things so you can make a half court. And something about that just feels so much better than just like, grinding. I've always loved grinding, but like just killing mobs, whatever. But, doing something in real life to affect in game, that's the thing that is just, oh my God, that makes me so passionate about the game. And
so the difference between, sorry to interrupt you, but the difference between, so grind, and then get a new weapon. But you're saying in a game like this, grind, I'm skill, my actual technique has improved, and now that's something I have for life going through this game.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, like stuff I've been able to do with my body playing this game, I've used in real life. Yeah. I mean, like my reaction time's improved. Like
Nice.
Yeah. I was a couple days ago playing football with some of my friends, and I could like actually catch the ball now, which is like
right.
never. Yeah. So that type of thing. Yeah. The grinding, and then with the aspects, it's like you're grinding to get better at all these aspects, but that's not all. Once you have all these aspects, you've mastered them, then you have to get a play style, which is figuring out what aspects you use in what situations, blah blah blah, to get a play style. So that's the other thing. It's not just, so it's like grinding mixed with like conscious choosing of what you want to do. Like my play style, I like to refer it similar. I don't know if you're familiar with the Team Kangarillas.
Please tell me.
So basically what they were a master at is controlling the pace of the game. So what they would do is they would do very slow, methodical passing, and then they would keep doing that, and then the other team would eventually make a mistake, and then like instantly they would just score a goal, because they could just figure, like they just saw the thing, they were so slow with the pace, and then they saw that the other team slipped up, and then they sped it up instantly. that type of thing, and just punish the mistakes, not let them get away with it. That's what I'm trying to do, at least, is much more slow, methodical. And then when there's an opportunity, like the other team doesn't even know what happened, the disc is now in their goal. And setting up offense, that's what I really like. Setting up an offense as a striker, I don't necessarily, what makes me feel better in most situations is not even scoring the goal, but like perfectly setting up my strikers, messing up their defense so that I can just pass it and then it goes in. That's almost, because that orchestration of like making sure that not only my team's in the right place, but the other team's in the right place. That is more important to me than, because anyone can jump up behind goal and hit it in. But, setting it up. So I really like setting up offenses. That's, especially bubble offenses, all that. So, and that all, it just goes back to, originally playing sports for the first time. It's like that's, I could feel that that's what I wanted, but not with soccer. So I think I love competitive for this game. That's why.
That orchestration, that setting up those offensive plays, could you translate that to any other part of your life? Is there any other area where you've experienced that, like almost like chess play? Because that's what it sounds like, right? That you're differentiate. What's the word? You're making it look different. The skill, the mechanical side of it, and then the strategic, the more managing your team and orchestrating, as you say. Is there anything else in your life that you use as reference to work in that way? Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so. I think
has this come from another area of your life? This desire to like build on something and have that chess play?
Maybe. I've never thought about that. I'm not sure. One thing
it's all right. It doesn't have to be an answer. It could have literally just been in effort.
No, I think
something new.
Yeah. I've always liked doing, like, I've always liked, there's just the feeling of orchestrating it, I guess, feels good because, like, in some ways, even though you're not, if you look at it from a third person perspective, it doesn't look like you're doing everything, but you are. I don't know. It's just like, it feels almost like powerful to orchestrate something like that, I guess. I don't know. But one other thing that, I'm not sure if this is exactly our question, but is this goes back to like the skills I've learned in Echo, how I use them in real life. With the orchestration, like a big thing with that is like keeping so many things in your conscious mind, like keeping them organized, like knowing what's happening. Because if you think about it, for me on offense, I'm thinking about what's happening with 7 other players, and that's a lot to keep in your head. So that skill, improving that skill, has helped me in real life, in a lot of different ways with school. Where that skill can be used pretty much everywhere. Being able to think about so many things at once, I guess. So that's something. I don't know if that was exactly your question, but that's something.
No, you've answered the question, but in a different way. Where I was asking for, has this come from somewhere else? You're saying, no, not really. It's come from Echo, and now you're using it elsewhere.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Is that true? Is that? Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's awesome. It means that you are developing these skills, and it's kind of cool that you've found it in Echo. Like, rather than bringing something to Echo, you brought something from Echo and you're putting it elsewhere.
Yep.
So, am I right? You're now competing in NEPA, or at least you're on the program somehow.
Yeah. So it's a right, for most people, it's a training process, and then you get to AAA and Pro. I'm right now in like the very bottom, step, which is just scouts, and then you have to.
Excuse me, 2 seconds. I'm just grabbing a battery pack, which I should have right here. And Money Mitch wasn't as prepared as he should have been. I've got a loose battery. Just plug in while I'm lacking a cable. Bang, 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 bang. Money, where would you put it? That one's long enough. Okay, cool. Let's grab this one quickly.
unwrap.
I've got an actual link. Okay. For doing the journal, just need to plug it in. Right. All right, right in your face there. Do apologize. Sorry. You were talking about Nepo and you were saying how you're at the bottom, like, tier of it?
Yeah, so the bottom tier, which is scouts, and then the sucky thing about scouts is there's no way for you by yourself to get up to the next level, which is the PDR. What you need to do to get to the PDR is you have to wait for them to do what's called a graded scrim. There's like scrims every day, but occasionally they do like a graded scrim. And in the graded scrim, you can play in the graded scrim, and then they'll pick people from there to go up. But the sucky thing is like it's been like months. Like I have no idea when the next one's going to be, and that's just sad because I assume the next one I will go up to PDR. I'm at that level, but it's like there's nothing I can do at this point. And then
how often are they meant to happen? Frequently, these graded scrims, or like is it alive with seasons, or
it's like every 2 weeks, but it's not, which is really sad. But
it's a shame.
So yeah, and it's just getting to the PDR, because once you get to the PDR, it's way more in your control, because at that point you're AAA captains, you're playing with AAA captains, and they're looking for players in PDR to come to AAA. So at that point, it is way more in your control. And then same thing with Pro, from AAA to Pro, it's Pro captains looking at AAA, and then they choose some player. So, but it's just getting through this first step could take a while, and but the privates are awesome. I saw you were in one of my live streams. That's like, I love the Finepa privates. Plus they make good content. So
yeah, I think it was on Twitch, right? I just got an alert on, maybe it was on YouTube Live.
It was on YouTube. Yep.
It came up. ConDawgB is streaming. I was like, all right, cool. Let me have a look.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Yep. I mean, it's awesome content. I can watch them back too. It's just it's a win-win. So.
And you're pretty happy putting out your scrims and matches like that on YouTube, yeah? Because for a while, personally, for some reason, like looking back, I think it's kind of dumb, but I used to be very like protective. I didn't want to upload my scrims and make them public because I didn't want people to see how I play and know my weaknesses. So now I'm like, that's ridiculous. But if someone wants to study me, they will. They'll watch the streams, they'll cast. And even if they do, like, how much of an advantage does that really give them?
Not much. Because it's all, yeah. So, but yeah, it's awesome content. That's the biggest thing for me. Because before Nepa, I'd been looking for like, how do I stream consistently? And like, streaming pubs were just, doesn't work. And then like, this was awesome. It just came out of nowhere right as I was looking for live streaming things, and it's awesome. So that's what I've been doing. And the other thing is right now for me, the only thing I'm doing is scouts. So I can choose when I play too. And they happen every night, but I don't have, so it's really cool in that regard too. I have a lot more choice, and I can schedule other things.
Yeah, do you feel, well, it sounds like you have tons of time for Echo in general, but do you feel any kind of like, I want to say imbalance, but that's not the word. Do you find any like conflict of your time between Nepa and VRML? Two different leagues. I know they're very different types of leagues, but do you find any, like, do you have to prioritize ever?
I mean, I got into Nepa right as I became a league sub, pretty much, so I don't know exactly. But because I can choose with Nepa at the moment, I mean, when you get to AAA, you have to have games. But until that point, yes, I can, because I don't have to play the Nepa game unless it's a graded scrim. I don't have to play an Nepa game. I can go do VRML instead. And right now, at the moment, with me and VRML, I'm waiting until next season. And seeing what my opportunities are. I basically set a thing for myself is, if by next season I'm in AAA, I quit VRML forever. If I'm not, then I'll look for VRML options. But like,
yes,
I mean,
Yeah, so it makes sense.
Yep.
So just going back to content, you spoke about just uploading scrims in general. Earlier on, you spoke about like breakdowns, play breakdowns. What other kind of content have you made in the past that like you've enjoyed? What other content haven't you made that you're looking forward to make? Like variety of content. That makes sense.
Well, first off, I'm 100% looking for variety and stuff, and that's what I'm doing. I want to have way more, like, I'm doing like consistent montages. I almost call it a series in a way. I wanted to have more series, like the gameplay analysis would be like a series. That type of thing where they're like kind of semi-consistently uploaded. I talked about this in the interview, the audio was gone, but my way more long-term plan is to start a VR esports organization.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Way more focused on, content, not like competitive. But a big thing I'm looking forward to is hosting tournaments overall that huge thing. And I want to do like tournaments and stuff, but with more content creators. And the point of it is I've seen this a lot in other games, is they have like the competitive, esports stuff, but then they do the same style with just content creators. And the point of it is not to have a winner or loser. It's just to get a bunch of people that, have funny personalities, the content creators, and doing something that is like competitive. It's like good to watch. You root for, instead of you're rooting for like, blank Rocket League team, you're rooting for, said content creator. So it's especially in like Fortnite, not to bring that up, they do that often. So that's more what I want to do. I probably will end up branching off into competitive, but I want it to be way more focused on content, not like.
So what would that look like? That example you gave of a tournament, because I'm not familiar with this. I don't really.
So for Echo, I
1v1s.
No, I hope and assume that at this point there'll be a lot more content creators that are bigger.
Right.
And basically I would host a tournament with a cash prize, and I would get content creators to come in and just do a 4v4. Basically similar to probably Never Roll set of, 4 quarters, and then whichever team wins, you get money. So that type of thing. And the point of it is to not necessarily have a winner, but more just, it's going to be content to watch. Like probably mics will be on, that type of thing, where it's not going to be like competitive in that way. It's going to be way more focused on making good content rather than making good gameplay, I guess. So
did you ever see, I forget the name of the content creator, this was about a year ago. Someone asked me about a marathon. They wanted to do and it was like silly. They wanted to do like 12 hours or 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the kind of thing you mean? So like, not necessarily like a straightforward match, but ways that we can make it interesting. It's something that people want to watch.
Yes. So I've actually had a lot of ideas for content that I want to do, although I haven't really done any work to do them. But like one quick example, because I kind of want to keep them for myself, most of them, because they're really good ideas. But one of them is like getting 8 players in an arena. 7 of them are legitimate bronze players. One of them is a diamond player disguised. And then there's like rounds, and then at the end, the bronze players have to vote for who they think the fake.
Oh, that's sick.
That type of thing. That's one idea. I have a lot more, but those I want to do. Is just like setting that up takes a lot of time. And I might create a Discord server for stuff like that. But
yeah,
I'm just gonna
that's complex. So yeah, you'd get a Discord server, get people in there, and then they're like your guinea pigs. They're your contenders that you can bring into just like game show type things. That's got massive potential.
Yeah. I think that's another big thing, because I don't want to just do competitive content. I definitely want to do more casual, but I don't know. I mean, I like competitive content because I'm so competitive right now. That's the thing.
And where are you with video editing? Do you enjoy that? Is there anything that you experiment with, particularly?
So that's the big thing about content. I hate actually for getting the montages, like the clips, you don't have to do any work. It just happens naturally. I have no video highlights, so it just clips everything. But like getting them off my computer, even though it's not a big deal, it's just like the part I really enjoy is hopping down, having all my clips in the video editor and just start. I love editing.
Okay.
Most people, I guess, don't enjoy it, but I love editing.
Yeah, I was going to say the opposite. Like, I love having an idea for a video. Like, for example, I'm making a vlog for the Echo North. I've got ideas. I'm excited about the ideas. I'm excited about storyboarding, but actually sitting down and spending 10 hours editing, I'm going to make it like a few parts because I want to like tell a story with it. And yeah, for me personally, it's the time it's going to take to do it, to edit it. Of course, like it's fun, but it's just a little bit laborious.
It's very tedious. That's what I've like usually edit late at night. And the reason why is because it's so tedious, there's not much brain power you need to do. So when I'm like, I just lay in bed, I edit usually on my phone.
Nice.
I really prefer that because you can drag, and that's just way easier than, I don't know, just for me. But
what app do you use? I'm really interested in that. I do everything on my laptop.
It's just some generic editor I found. I'm on Android, so it's not on Apple, but it's called UCut.
UCut.
Yep, UCut Video Editor. It's on Google Play.
Okay,
but
I'll check it out.
I use that, but yeah. So I lay in my bed and as I'm falling asleep, I do it, and then I play a game with myself. I'm like, I wake up in the morning, and either I wake up my phone in my hand editing, or I wake up the video. I play music to go to bed, so like that on. So it's just like, did I fall asleep editing or did I not? Because I don't remember. So it's always dumb. But so I and that's really helpful because and I watch it back in the morning. I'm like, wow, it's good editing. So this doesn't require any brain power, and I don't remember it. So it's like that type of thing of like, so I've found that very helpful for editing. But overall, it's just like, I don't know what it is, but it's like once you have, it's like, for me, it feels like you get all the footage, and it's all in one place, and now it's just like making it connect. I don't know, it's fun. I've thought about, for the time being, like starting a video editing business. I've thought about that.
Yeah, fair.
Actually might work for someone I know in real life for a little bit, editing for them. So. And
what kind? Is it like montage, game montage?
It's very different. It's like not anything to the Echo. It's actually really complicated. I'm not sure if I actually can talk about it. So.
Okay,
but it's basically just like, my friend is starting a business with my someone else, and they want me to. Part of it includes video editing. So.
Fair play. Yeah, sounds cool. So talking about like business ideas, you briefly mentioned it before as well. This esport organization that you're working on. I just remember little bits from our prior interview where we lost the audio from it. Do you want to go over that again and just explain what that was?
Yeah,
I'm really interested in this part.
Well, again, it's way more focused on content. I want to have esports organization. I want to host tournaments, focus on content. I don't want to have these players in this organization.
Oh, so sorry to interrupt again, but it's content. So that is the business. You want to sell like a brand where you would have these events.
Yes. Right. So the business side of it, purely like money, would be this name, which I don't want to give out the name, but I have a really perfect name.
That's cool.
But the name, it's going to be a brand. Take any other esports organization.
By the way, if it's a very good name, definitely hype this up. Make an announcement.
Yeah, no, I'm going to do. Yeah, I think I'm waiting till I'm 18 to do it because it's way easier to do it. But I'll basically have this brand, which is this name, and that brand will have associated with it sponsors, and then I'll reach out to players, or hopefully at some point players will reach out to me, and there'll be a contract of I want to do 50-50. So basically these people on their content creator pages will promote these products because they're now in this org. And then say, just put it simply, this sponsor from this content creator makes $100. 50-50 would be they get 50, I get 100. Or not 150. We both get 50. And the big piece with that is it's purely on them, because if they get more views, more views equal more clicks on whatever sponsor, and then sponsor more money. So it influences them highly to promote Echo in general, and then also it's just so it's a really good system in my mind. Although likely I'll have to do way more negotiations with these players. I don't think it'll be 50-50, but so that's the general idea of the organization, and then I'll have tournaments, where are these people, and I'm sure I'll do more stuff. But yep. And the big thing is like with most esports organizations are again way more focused on like competitive, being the best, blah blah blah. But I want to focus on content, and part of that as well is like how gameplay is shown. If that makes sense. So like VRML, how they cast their games, that's incredibly important for me, because it's not just what you're seeing on screen, it's how you're seeing it. Does that make sense? So
please elaborate.
Okay. So, and with VR, you can do way more. So with just PC esports, you're left to a 2D screen. I don't know if you're familiar with Vertex Stadium.
Yes, I am.
So that type of thing of having a stadium in VR that you can watch, the esports game.
Yes.
That's a big thing. So like I'm really interested in, but my point is you can have way more freedom with how you're showing content because it's VR. And if your viewers are in VR as well. So like that type of thing. I mean, if VRML does that with, what's the venues? Right.
Yes.
So like that's what I'm also highly interested in, because I don't want it to just be like YouTube or Twitch, people watching there. I want people to have more engagement, because you can have more engagement because it's VR. So that's another thing I'm highly interested in. And I've thought about ways to do that, but I think Vertex is going to be the big one. But it's because.
And where's this coming from? Because that you're doing right now, yeah, sure, some people fancy being a bit of an Echo content creator. They want to, or whatever game they're playing VR, they want to start uploading a couple montages. They just want to play a lot. But you've gone competitive,
right?
You've gone for content, and you guys so out your way to start building an entire organization,
right?
What could you talk about that? Like the inspiration to do that? Any like role models you look up to, like outside Echo completely?
Yeah. So again, it's just I have passion. The idea of owning an esports organization, I don't know what it is, but just like the freedom you have. I like. Well, it's not that I like travel, but I like going to all these places, all this different stuff, managing things, and like it's a way for like I feel like me to be incredibly involved without playing, because at a certain point I don't want to be necessarily playing this game as competitively. I want to be way more I want to be way more involved in like hiring players to so like I don't know, it's just something about that speaks to me and makes me really want to get that job. I say I'm making the job for myself, because you can't get that job. There's no way to get that job. And for inspiration, I don't know if you're familiar with 100 Thieves.
That's a video game, right? Pirate game.
100 Thieves? No, that's Sea of Thieves. 100 Thieves is I believe an esports organization that like started fairly recently compared to the others, and it's like growing. Like I think they're number 1 in the world right now. They're above FaZe.
Okay.
Which is wild.
Oh, wow.
And it was started by someone very, what I'm planning to do is started by a content creator called named Nadeshot. So he's inspiration, because he was a content creator that then started an esports organization that then got players to play the game that he was playing, blah blah blah, and now he's just, crazy rich and travels all over. So like that's something I'm
from playing what game?
I forget. It's all. I mean, at this point, it's basically every game, because it's so big.
Oh, I don't remember what game
it started.
It has multiple game.
Yeah, I mean I think every big one has pretty much every esports game. But yeah,
Is that something that you plan to do yourself as well with this whatever name or brand you have, this organization?
I want to set a rule for myself that like no PC, only VR. Because obviously, I eventually will branch off from just Echo, but I'm mainly Echo. But I don't know. I mean, depends. I really want to focus because VR is what I don't know. I've never been into PC gaming. I've always been into VR, so I really want to stick to VR. But it's just like the thing is like at the beginning, there's not much money in VR, especially with what I'm talking about right now. That's why I really want to be like the pioneer for this, like the creator of realizing that this is possible. That's what I want to do. So that's
Yeah. Are there any other VR titles then, but not paid games, but VR titles that you're just aware of from a distance, or maybe you play? You were speaking about Orbis earlier.
Veil. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Veil
FPS, right? Like
it's very new. It's not even fully out yet. I've actually haven't played it in a while, but I'm in the beta or whatever, the alpha.
Cool.
So that game, because I think that game actually could be the biggest, and likely will be the biggest VR. Like
interesting.
It's very like they're doing it right. They really know what they're doing, I think. But other than that, no. I mean, any game that's successful at the end of the day.
Have you played around with Onward, Pavlov, any of the other FPS contractors, anything like that?
Well, Pavlov, this sucks. I actually really wanted to play Pavlov. Pavlov, I'm left-handed. It doesn't work. They have no settings.
Oh, really?
Locomotion.
I'm left-handed.
Well, they have a left-handed locomotion thing, but it's not. It's not actually how it's supposed to be done, and you can't. I spent hours looking at it, so I refunded it. But that sucks. But I don't think those games are going far because they really peaked already in a way. They're kind of, and VRML has Onward. I'm looking for way more new stuff.
Yeah.
Because when I'm going to actually be doing this is 5 years in the future, maybe yes, but more like.
So do you see something? Because I feel like Onward and Pavlov, they have a specific. So of course it's VR, so it's already a niche, but they're hitting another niche of FPS,
right?
Which is like realism. It is not like your Halo or like futuristic shooter. They're aiming for a very like, modern warfare,
right?
Aesthetic or style.
And I think that's why they get so much attention, especially just overall FPS VR games. Because there is such a VR or not VR, FPS, PC esports thing. So, or audience. So, but yeah, a big thing that I've really noticed with esports overall is especially, owning an esports organization, the games that you're going in, you have a reputation, you need respect in those games. And it's just overall in general. So that is something I'm interested in because, you have to have respect. I mean, people, you do, reputation is incredibly important for esports. So that's something that
could you give an example? I'm not sure I follow what you mean. Reputation you're entering or your own reputation?
So say you're some successful or esports guy in a different game and you want to buy a new team. What I've seen is in this new games community, if they don't know who you are already, they'll be very skeptical of you. So you need a rep in not only the game you're focused on, but other games. So I guess my point is I dabbled in trying to figure out how I could build a rep in other games without actually playing them. But I don't know. I mean, then again, if you're offering to pay people to play the game, you get some attention instinctively. So, but yeah, that's something I have to be aware of as well.
Okay. So what, could you give an example of what good rep is? Good reputation, or where you've seen it being done in games that you do play? Or do what?
Just really the people respect you as a, I mean, that's a big thing. what's a game? I can't think of an example.
Well, you mentioned phase earlier, and you mentioned 100 feet.
Yeah,
Like, would that be an example?
yeah, where but they already have reputation in like every game because they're so publicized. So
Right.
That's my point. Is like, as I'm growing, because the difference is PC esports is already an industry that's incredibly big. So but VR esports is an incredibly new concept to the vast majority of people. So you know, I want to make sure that I'm really involving myself in the right games for when that is massive, because I do think obviously VR esports will blow up at some point and go mainstream, and that's really determined on VR headset. When everyone has a VR headset, VR esports is gonna go crazy, because once everyone has a PC. So but I'm just like, I want to involve myself in the right community. So like, back to you saying Onward, in my personal opinion, I don't think those games will be as big as something like Veil,
because they've already been around, or
because Veil is so good at FPS, in my opinion, and my point is, like, I think, and because it's so new, they're adding so much more stuff. They're very involved in their own community, the developers asking for advice and all that. I think that they are going to be very successful, and it's going to line up with when VR esports becomes very successful. So I want to, that's my point, is I want to involve myself in the right games. And Echo, I think, will be, because it's just so unique, this game. There's nothing remotely close to it. Whereas Onward is like Veil, is like Pavlov. That's my point. Like, the game that adds unique elements is the game that I'm looking for, and the game that really cares about the community, like things I value, like caring about the community, asking the community for advice, adding the right stuff. When Veil updates their game, they're always adding like the right stuff. Like, they added zip lines, that type of thing. Like, it's just like they're adding cool features that aren't necessary. Like, they didn't need to add zip lines, but it makes the game cooler. So like those types of things, of like the unique elements. They have like gas bombs, so there's the unique elements, I think, is really important. And I think Veil is gonna blow up because of how they're running their operation and how it is even right now in such early development.
Do you know, is it a one-man band? Is it just like a bedroom developer, or is it like an actual studio?
I believe it's an actual studio.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, well, that's exciting. I need to check it out.
Yeah, Veil's really cool. I'm really excited for it. Like, it's come out fully. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So my next question was going to be like future of Echo and what you plan to do, or not Echo, but like, because this is so much bigger now, is VR in general. And I feel like you've kind of answered it already. You're looking to develop this this organization and just see where it takes you over the next 5 years.
Yep. Well, and a big thing with that is travel. I kind of mentioned this with like you. I'm basically going to have to travel all over the place. And what I've realized in your life is, like, I don't actually, like, my room is a bed and VR. I'm not even joking. It's a bed and VR. So I'm still thinking about it, but I'm fairly confident this is what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to college. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a van. I'm going to, like, have you seen like the tiny homes? I'm going to renovate a van to like be livable, and then play VR in the back of the van. So that's like, first off, that's great content, and it just makes sense for me. Because it's like Ready Player One is literally a guy playing VR out of his van. So that's what I'm planning to do.
Two things. Yep. So first of all, I fully relate. So my dream during the pandemic, when I was really getting to VR, I was like, okay, this is awesome. I thought, okay, right, how can I make my life basically me, a headset, a gaming laptop, and that's it. I just go wherever I want, get in a hotel with Wi-Fi, and just make sure the hotel room is big enough for VR. Like, that's my life, that's my career. I'm just going to work in VR. That was my plan. And it is kind of working out. Like, other things have come up in my professional life where I'm now, currently I'm set in London. I'm working like hybrid in the office, but like, who knows? if I keep working in VR, that could actually be a reality. But the second thing, I mentioned this in our prior interview, Palmar Lucky. Did you get around to looking him up?
Who is he?
Palmar Lucky is one of the founders of Oculus.
Oh, yeah.
So he basically like reinvigorated the entire VR industry with the headset, which was whatever DK1, working on DK2, and then the CV1, the original Rift that came out. And when he was running Oculus, because he's since moved on and he's doing other things, but when he was working at Oculus, every new person that would join the company, he supposedly would make sure he'd put Ready Player One, a copy of the book, on their desk, and like, you have to read this. This is like compulsory reading if you're going to work it. Yep. So have you read the book? Is it the film that you've seen?
Oh, of course.
Oh, amazing.
No, I've read the book, and the movie was very different. It was like good, but it was different good, you know. Well, the same story.
I recommend, I guess because you're coming in, you're 16, I believe, and you go into VR when you're 11, that's awesome. But beside the point, yeah, definitely do your research in how this like wave of VR came about.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm really excited for you. I'm really excited for what you've got in store, what you're bringing to the table, but also what you're going to be seeing over the next 5-10 years. It's going to be really good to follow, like in terms of you personally, but the brand that you're building, it's going to be cool to see. And I think it's an inevitability as well. I don't know what it will look like. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be centered around virtual reality and the VR industry as we have it. But before we close this off, so we've spoken because it's your world, gaming, VR gaming. What are your thoughts on like VR work as well? I'm sure you're aware of it because it's all trending at the moment.
Oh yeah,
with workrooms, metaverse, blah blah blah.
VR work.
Have you had much thought of it, or is that not really your world? You haven't really had your mind in that space.
Really my world, but one thing is like parts of that of like, what do you need to do work? You need to be able to write things down, blah blah blah. Having that in VR, I think, is really important. But basically, what my point is all the things that are work, you can also do other things with. So it's important to me because like living in the van, there's going to be a lot of things like I'm going to do. And that's the thing I joke about is like, I use the metaphor for like the TARDIS is like, it's a small thing, but with the actual VR headset on, it's massive. You know, this small amount of space is actually this whole arena. So, you know, I want to do as many things as possible in VR. So the you know, workrooms and all that is interesting to me for like what the aspects of those are, being able to write things down, blah blah blah, all that. So that's really interesting to me. So sort of, I guess.
Sort of, yeah. But you've had one eye on it, but you're very much doubling down in your world, which is competitive echo. Yeah, not echo, like competitive virtual reality, esports, and content, creating a content creation business and editing at 2 a.m. on your bed on your phone.
Yep,
that's so cool. Anything else you want to mention, or we can wrap this up now?
I don't think so.
No? Awesome. I really appreciate you. Appreciate your time, and I look forward to following what you build. How weird is that? Because of the setting that we've got here, we can't actually punch. So that was just really like weird. I'm used to like the buzz of the punch. But anyway, let's wind this off. I've been MoneyMitch26. This is ConDawgB, and this is Top of the Pop. Hope you enjoyed.